Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So as you know, I am working on the Ultimate Watercolor Pencil Battle. And originally I was going to do full-length color alongs for all of the pencil brands I was testing, but I realized that is ridiculous. So what I'm going to do is I am going to be working on pages with these pencils and sharing some color combinations and tips, and we will go from there. So today I am working in Autumn Charm. That is a Teresa Goodridge book, and I'm going to be using the Fantasia watercolor pencils. There are 36 that I have. These were actually gifted to me by a subscriber. And I was really impressed when I had swatched these at how vibrant the colors were. I mean, they're actually really, really nice. And for this being a 36 count set, I really like the colors that they curated here. So yeah, I am going to work on this page a little bit. You can kind of treat it as a color and chat / combo / teaching session, however you want to look at it. But I'm going to be doing it in segments just so they're easier to digest. So for this one, I wanted to work on the corn stalks. So we have corn stalks on this side and on this side. I have picked out, in case you have these and you want to color along, I have picked out number 39, 29, and 4. So what I'm going to do is zoom you in. Go. Okay, I'm going to start with 39, which is a dark green. And I'm just gonna put it here and there. I don't want too much of this dark green. It's like a dark olive. One of my favorite colors to use, by the way. But obviously it's fall, so things are turning more yellowish, but I do want just some pops of that darker green. So that's what we're doing. I can't tell if that's, I think it goes right here. These do lay down nice and smooth. Now you can use this color combo using any pencils you like. If you happen to own the Fantasia, then follow along. Originally I was going to do these all in Johanna Basford books, but I think one of the things that was holding me back was the fact that I just didn't want to, I wouldn't be in the mood to color a Johanna Basford that day. And I also don't want to burn out on her books because I just got the new one and I want to color it. And I don't want to be like, I'm so sick of it. So we're going to branch out and do some other types of paper, types of books. Plus I love using watercolor in these Teresa Goodridge books simply because there's so much open space. You need something to fill it in. All right, now I'm on number 29. So basically we're going to call this a tutorial of how to color corn with watercolor pencils. And after I color in these leaves here, we'll switch to the actual corn. So I'm just popping in a little bit of this light green where I want. I'm really not thinking about it too much though. Honestly, you shouldn't either. Just roll with it. The more you think about it, the more your page looks like you thought about it. Okay, now I'm going to take number 4. It's a really rich yellow. And I'm just going to kind of fill in the white space. Got to show that these are turning, getting ready to harvest. Okay. In there. Alright, did I get it all? Nope, I left some spots. I already activated these ones here, but I may go back and add more. Okay. I'm just using my Zig detailer brush today because my Pentels don't want to work. And we are going to make sure your brush is just damp. So like if you rub it against your hand, it just feels damp. Start with your lightest color, move into your darkest color. So yellow into the dark green, dab yellow into the dark green. If you don't have any yellow and it's light green, then use the light green and go into the dark. Otherwise that dark will wet words will wet and take over your other colors. Now you can also just use a regular paintbrush. Sometimes I find that actually easier, but I break out the water brushes just because I like to go color in bed. That's where I do my best work, laying in bed, being lazy. But a cup of water and normal paintbrushes aren't very bed friendly, so I embrace the water brush. And my favorite is the Pentel, but for some reason my Pentels are not working. All of them are clogged, and I did leave the lids off, so I'm wondering if something dried in there. Okay, so we've activated those. Now, off the tip of the pencil here, see the tips here? I'm going to take color off the tip. I'm going to take a little bit of this dark green gently, because I don't know how crazy this is going to get. And I'm just going to kind of dab it where I want things a wee bit darker. Again with the dark green, dab, and then you kind of want to scumble, you know, wiggle your brush tip around so that it blends in and doesn't have just one big old glob. Same thing with this yellow. I'm going to get a little bit of this yellow. Anywhere I feel like I want a little bit more yellow pop. You could also, if you're not comfortable pulling off the tip, because the tip is a very concentrated color, as you can see. If you're not comfortable with that, then wait for it to dry and just apply a second layer. One of the biggest things I tell people when working with watercolor pencils is even the expensive brands sometimes need a second layer. Now, there are some very budgety pencils that just never give you pigment no matter what. That's different. But I mean, these are watercolor pencils. They're meant to give you that light wash, translucent look. So you don't want something extremely opaque. Museum aquarelles are very, very opaque. Very hard to work with if you're a beginner. I don't recommend them in like coloring books as much, but I have done it. But yeah, it's a lot easier with these other ones that have a more transparent look to them so that you can go back and add. But also then you get that traditional watercolor look, which is kind of what you were going for. Other things, I know some folks like to use their watercolor pencils as a base and then go over it with their pencils once dry. You could do that too. I don't, but that's just me. Okay, so there we go. We have our fallish stalks of the corn. Now we need to color in those pieces of corn. So let me grab my colors for that. Okay. So I ended up grabbing number 45, which is kind of like a sienna brown. Number 43 reminds me of a good solid yellow ochre. And then we're also using that number 4 again, which is a pretty lemony yellow. So I'm going to start with my 45, which is my sienna brown. And I'm just going to put little wiggles of brown here and there. Especially here at the bottom. If your greenery is still wet, Just do your best to not touch it with your pencil. Just trying to get this in here. This is basically just to create some depth. I'm not going for realism. Okay, so take that number 43 now. This will be our primary color. I'm going to use that like quite a bit. I want to leave a little opening for my brighter yellow, but not a lot. Okay. All right, now we're going to grab that number 4, which we have in our leaves. It's always good to bring in colors from throughout the page. You don't have to have a limited color palette, but it's still good to bring colors throughout. Okay, now we are going to activate these. So I'm going to just start by trying to get the yellow parts wet first, dabbing off my brush, and then wiggling them into the brown. So see, I'm kind of just dabbing where I see the yellow the most and then wiggling it down to the brown because I don't want that brown to go over the yellow first. Same thing here. Wiggle and bring that down. Wiggle and bring that down. Okay. See, so now you can see all the different colors in there. So if I want to, again, I can pull from the tip. I'm going to pull a little bit of brown. Just kind of mix that in where I want. You can even add a little of it to your leaves. Now this paper is not meant for watercolor, so try to be gentle on the amount of water you put on. If you notice it's starting to pill, then stop, dry it, and then go back. Now I'm taking a little of that yellow ochre, just touching up where I want to have more spots of that. I'm going to take this bright yellow, pop that in here. Actually, I want some more bright yellow right there too. And I want some bright yellow here. A little bit more in there. Okay. One thing you can do if you want to dry this quicker, let me zoom you out a little bit. Okay. So I have the Ranger heat tool and I just go like this. It's very quiet and surprisingly quiet. Dries really nicely. I highly recommend using this when you're working in your books. It will prevent a lot of the wrinkling of the page. Also dries it quicker so that you can move on. There you go. See, all dry. So yeah, I do recommend that tool. I'll leave a link in the description below if that's something that kind of suits your fancy. But yeah, that is how we are going to color corn in this book here. I will be back momentarily after I color all the corn, which, let me see if I can zoom out a little more. I can't. So we've got corn all the way going down here into this wheel. And then we got corn all the way over here, again, going into the wheel. So I'll be coloring all of those off camera, and then I'll come back to show you some more and just kind of share these in little tidbits and have some fun with it. So I will see you soon.